Hi, welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make no-knead veal rye bread with a caraway seed. That is absolutely easy and it takes a fraction of time for you to prepare the dough a night before you actually want to bake the bread. Time, beer, and yeast and some other ingredient you're putting in there. It's going to do all the work for you. And the final product you're gonna have it's gonna be this delicious rustic and crusty bread. Let me show you how that is done. Here are the ingredients. I have 3 cups of white flour, 1 cup of rye flour. For the white flour, I'm using bread flour. I have 1.5 teaspoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of caraway seed and half teaspoon of yeast. I'm using the instant yeast. I have 8 ounces of room temperature water and then also 8 ounces of the beer that I actually like. I'm using IPA, but you can use whichever beer you have in hand. But the important thing is they're supposed to be room temperature. So let me show you how that is done. Put all the bread flour, 3 cups, 1 cup of rye flour, and then I'm going to put the yeast. I'm going to put salt, not directly touching. I put in the yeast in the left side and then salt in the right side. And then I'm going to just roughly mix it. So the salt is not going to kill yeast. Next, I'm going to put a tablespoon of caraway seed. I love caraway seed. The aromatic. 8 ounces of room temperature beer, whichever beer you like to have. 8 ounces of just room temperature water. And just mix it well. You just mix it until you don't see any dry flour. So mix. I don't see dry flour. Oh, a little bit maybe. All you need to do is cover it with a lid or cling foam tightly. Leave it at room temperature between 12 hours to 18 hours. So I'm going to check it tomorrow morning to see that how it looks like. It's going to be probably double in volume. Dough has been rested at 15 hours at room temperature. As you can see, it has risen quite a lot, almost double in volume. What I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare for the second rise. So I have all-clad Dutch oven with some parchment paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to well flour the parchment paper. And then after that, I will set it aside and then I will prep the dough to shape it. Make sure to flour the bottom really well because this is very wet dough and then your hands as well. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this pastry scraper to pick it up. It's very wet dough, so what you want to do is you tip it over. If that doesn't come out, you put some flour and you gently forcing it to come out. You gently pour it, more flour, any kind of kitchen scraper or pastry scraper, you pick it up. We are not kneading, but we are folding to making sure that you're folding it to actually shape the bread. So it seems like it shaped well. All I did was I dumped it, I put the flour, and then I will just pick it up with the scraper. Don't worry too much about those kind of wrinkles because it's going to actually make your bread rustic. And then I'm going to put it back to the Dutch oven that I prepare with the parchment paper. Make sure there's some flour on top of the dough. And then I'm going to cover it and then I'm going to leave it for 2 more hours. In the meanwhile, I'm going to heat up my oven to 500 degrees to prep with another cast iron pot inside of the oven. It's been 2 hours. I preheated my oven at 500 degrees Fahrenheit with my second set of the Dutch oven inside to preheat it together. And here are the dough rested for the second time. It seems like it has risen very well. It's time to do the final preparation to bake the bread. This is extremely hot. It has been preheated together like I stated that. So be very careful. What you need to do is you carefully pick up the dough and then put it in a preheated Dutch oven, and then with any kind of sharp knife, score it whatever shape you want to actually have. I'm gonna make kind of big X. Cutting the bread on top of like this is very important. It actually helps the bread to release the steam. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the hot lid and I'm gonna put it back to the oven and then bake it for 30 minutes with the lid on at 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and then after that lid off and bake for 20 more minutes. And then bread should be nice and golden and has a very good crust. The bread has been baked like really well, and I let it rest for 10 minutes. So it's time for us to cut it and give some taste tests. So as you can see inside, it's well risen, aerated. And I'm gonna actually have some butter and then I'm gonna give a taste. Wow. Not like any other like tasteless just bread. It tastes amazing. I can taste the caraway seed. I can taste some of the rye. I don't know how I can taste it, but and then also it has very complex flavor, and the outside texture and the crust is chewy. Inside is like dense, but not in a cakey way. So it's just like overall very pleasant taste and then very delicious bread. Yeah, I think I can make a nice sandwich out of this bread roll, and then also it'll go well with the soup as well. So I hope you enjoy my video, and then if you like the video, and then please try my recipe, and then when you try it, let me know how it goes. Until next time, happy baking.